All right, we'll go ahead and begin. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Jessica Garay. I am the Data and Career Awareness Project Coordinator with Workforce Solutions Capital Area, where we connect local people to local jobs in Travis County. And today you are joining us with three very special guests to learn more about careers and logistics. So really excited for you all to join. Just a couple housekeeping items. Make sure you stay muted. This recording or this video will be recorded and available on our YouTube channel afterwards. We will also schedule 15 minutes at the very end for Q&A. So feel free as we go along, if a question pops up, you can put it in the chat. And for the last 15 minutes, we will answer your questions. If we do not get to any of your questions, I will follow up with you via email and check in with our guests to see if they have any answers to the questions that you bring. So first, I want to introduce our moderator. It's going to be Mr. Mike Doyle with San Marcos CISD, and he has been serving students of San Marcos CISD since 2014. He's the Director and Career and Technical Education. One of Mike's passions is to help his students engage in their education and reach their post-secondary goals with the needed skills to be successful. He strives to engage business and industry within multiple aspects of the San Marcos CISD CTE program. So if we have any students today, we're really glad you can join us. He's going to be asking some really engaging questions to help students learn more about logistics. We also have Angel Contreras with Amazon. He is an HR executive currently working as a senior HR business partner with Amazon in San Marcos, Texas. He's had HR experience in manufacturing and logistics for almost 20 years. He holds an MBA with concentration in HR and BA in psychology from the University of Iowa. And he is a veteran, happy Veterans Day, belated. And he served in the US Navy as a corpsman for 8.5 years. We're also joined by Lisa Budge, who is an HEB recruiter. And she's been with HEB for 10 years, and she's been in recruiting the entire time. She currently manages the external driver hires within the company and also hires for manufacturing maintenance technicians for San Antonio and Corpus and all facility maintenance positions with their distribution centers across the state of Texas. So again, you have two wonderful recruiters here. So if you think of any questions, especially in regards to any logistics, warehousing, transportation careers, these are your go-to people. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to Mr. Doyle, who's going to be facilitating the conversation today.
Thank you, Jessica. I guess let's jump right in. Lisa, will you please share with the audience what an HR professional does and what the logistics industry is all about?
Sure, thank you. So as a recruiter, we are constantly sourcing to find candidates that match our business needs. We conduct interviews, make recommendations to the business, and extend offers to new partners. I am with manufacturing, warehouse, and transportation. So basically, manufacturing takes raw products to make our food productions. Our warehouses store those goods, and then transportation delivers those products to our stores.
Perfect, thank you. Angel, same question. Give us a little bit of information about the HR professional and how it ties in with the logistics industry.
Yeah, so it's a pretty broad field. Obviously, Lisa explained the recruitment or talent acquisition portion of it. But if you think about it, HR professionals can really mold the culture of an organization. They do it through various tools. You know, I look at it as buckets. You know, there's a leadership development bucket, a performance management. There's employee relations issues that pop up, the recruitment pieces Lisa mentioned, and there's just a lot of different factors that come into play. I like to tell people there's no such thing as HR policies. There's company policies. The HR team just kind of happens to administer them and kind of helps the leaders kind of enforce a lot of these processes. So it's a broad spectrum, a broad field. You could specialize in benefits, for example, recruitment, investigations. It's just a really broad field. I've always, in almost 20 years, have done more of a generalist. So it's a broad spectrum. I get a small piece of every one of these pies. Good and bad to that. The good part is you get exposure to everything in the HR field. The bad part is you get gray hair like me.
No. Well, hey, you got it in your head though, and not on the ground. So that's a great thing, right? So Lisa, back to you. What are the different pathways, career pathways available within the logistics industry?
So again, I am with manufacturing, warehouse, and transportation divisions of HEB. So we have those 3 different boxes, and within manufacturing, we've got production, which is basically assembly line type positions. There's quality assurance technician, safety, maintenance. On the warehouse and transportation side, starting off entry level, there's order selectors, lift operators, receiving clerks, shipping clerks. And then within transportation, we would have load planners, dispatchers, planner schedulers for the transportation areas, driver opportunities, and then we also have permanent spotters who spot the trailers within our yard, along with delivery driver trainees. So we have a program for our internal partners to train them on how to become a full-time truck driver if that's the career path that they choose.
Well, that's a great opportunity for people within the organization. Angel, same question. What are the different pathways available in the logistics industry within Amazon?
Yeah, so Lisa did a really good job of answering that. So maybe I'll answer it this way. Logistics, it sounds almost really fancy, but it's really just a coordination or planning of a lot of different elements. You have a product, it's going to come in, which means, where's it coming in from transportation wise? Is it coming in through air, train, trucks? Then what happens to it? It's got to be received, shipping and receiving. Does anything need to happen to that product? Does it need to be modified in any way, shape, or form? Or does it just need to be packaged and sent back out somewhere else? So there's some internal processes that happen, and that's just a clean, really short example of logistics. I personally look at it like getting groceries. Obviously, we do a lot of shopping at HEB and Amazon. So luckily, I have a significant other that juggles all the different factors. What do we need from a warehouse perspective? That's our pantry, right? What do we need as far as perishables that end up in the fridge? Those are fast moving items. You can't store them for too long, kind of thing. And then where are you going to get all your groceries and everything else? Location, travel, you take all those things into account. That's logistics. But if you look at it that way, there's a lot of different components and a lot of different players. It's not just the people in the shipping and receiving, but it's the folks who work in transportation, in making sure that the packages are going to come in on time. And then whatever happens to them internally, then they have to leave on time. So there's that's kind of a critical piece, but there's a lot of things that happen in between. Obviously, HR perspective, the recruitment of folks that know how to do these things, whether it's a CDL driver, shipping and receiving, or just someone who works in picking or stowing. All those components have to come together to be able to, it's like a nice little orchestra of things that need to happen. So there's a lot of different pathways, and now you add to it the technology. So the robotics piece of it, we're going to need people with those types of skill sets, programming, understanding, a lot of mechanical aptitude, and being able to function and do your job with the amount of automation that's there. It's advantageous, but you also got to have a different mindset and a different skill set to do well.
That's great, and it really leads into the next question. I'll ask Lisa first and follow up with Angel, but describe briefly within your organization the career ladder from the entry-level role all the way up to the leadership within HEB, and same question goes to Amazon. If someone is walking in the entry level, what are those logistic careers all the way up?
Okay. So at HEB, we offer multiple programs for leadership development. So we have an hourly career development program for our warehouse partners that are interested in growing their career in leadership. It is an hourly program, so it partners the partners up with different leaderships, different areas within the business, gives them a project to work on to enhance the skills that they currently have. We also have an exempt role. It's called an associate team leader position that's available to our internal partners as well as external. And that is a 6 to 9 month training program that it, again, partners those individuals up with different areas of the business. It gives them broad exposure to different areas within manufacturing, warehouse, and transportation. And then after that program is successfully completed, they are then promoted into a leadership role. And then with that, we have leadership development areas or programs that our leaders can grow into ops leaders or facility leaders. Most of our hourly partners can move up into clerical roles. We also have a corporate temp program for our current partners to work temporary in other areas. So if it's a store partner looking to get experience into, transportation or manufacturing, they could move into a temporary role for, six weeks at a time to get experience.
Great answer. Thank you for that. And before Angel, before you jump in, I think what I was hearing is that it's what we talk to students about in education, the importance of being a lifelong learner, that when you walk out of high school or walk out of a college, you're not done learning. So that's a really important aspect to tie in to any of those students who are out there listening. So I direct the question to you, Angel. So again, describe those entry-level careers and the progression up into leadership at Amazon when it comes to logistics.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike, as far as continuing to learn. I think that's the secret, I guess, if you want to really continue to advance with Amazon. You come in as technically a tier 1 employee and you have multiple paths you can take. We do a lot of internal promotions, so it's really good opportunity. You do have to be a little bit patient. You do have to master the tier 1 role, show that you're good at that, you've mastered it, and you're intellectually curious. You want to learn about different things. Again, most, if not all of our, a high percentage of our frontline salaried folks came from the tier 1 process. So they're frontline leaders now. We call them area managers, and they're heading towards the operations path. I think that's probably the fastest path. But as a tier 1, after, again, there's no strict timeline. You have to have a minimum of 30 days. But the additional timeline is, when are you ready? When are you ready for the next type of role? And there's multiple either lateral moves, positions that you could learn, a learning ambassador where you're basically teaching new people how to learn the different processes that you've already learned. There's a PA or a process assistant type role, which is just below the leadership type ones, but you're learning tons and tons of leadership skills, and you're moving people around, you're designating folks, and then the next role up would be the area manager. So I've talked to a lot of people at Amazon that literally said, I started at Amazon as a student, paying my way through college, literally for a part-time position, but that was 3 years ago, and I have no plans to leave because now I'm an area manager. I'm doing so well, and things just look bright, and you could continue down that path. And the next one up is an operations manager, a senior operations manager. And then if you're that far into it, you might as well go be a general manager at one of the new launch facilities that are popping up all over the place. Now that's just the operations track. We also do a lot of internal promotions, even in the HR world, if that's kind of your interest, or IT or finance or one safety, for example, is interest of yours. You can head down any one of those paths. Now, I will say that some of those paths do require certain certifications, education. So you have to kind of talk to some of the folks that are currently in those roles so that you know what you're potentially getting yourself into. But I love talking to people all the time when they ask me, how did you get in HR and how do I do it? Because then I tell them my story. Then they can kind of really decide, do I want to do it or do I not? That's up to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, but it depends on what you want to do. But to your point exactly, Mike, always keep learning, always keep asking good questions, and stretch yourself. Raise your hand and say, hey, I'll take on that extra duty or extra assignment. You can't look at it as it's extra work. You're learning something that's advantageous to you to move forward in your career.
It's an opportunity. So that's
absolutely.
Great. All right, back to you, Lisa. What are some of those common misconceptions about working in the logistics world?
So I think the best way for me to answer that question, with us being with manufacturing, warehouse, and transportation, we are behind the scenes with HEB, again, because as people typically think of HEB, the stores, but we're actually the ones who keep the stores running and supplying them with food and products.
Yeah, you're right. I've been to HEB several times, and really the only side of it is the checkout. So
Right.
it's interesting. Angel, same question. What are some of those misconceptions about logistics, and then maybe how it plays into Amazon?
Yeah, so I think logistics, and I'll go even broader. Most of my career was in manufacturing, but logistics, it's all kind of intertwined. I think I believe that there's a misperception that manufacturing or logistics is a dark environment. It's dirty, it's grungy, there's a lot of machinery. Although the one truth there is that there is a lot of machinery. There's a lot of conveyor belts, there's a lot of automation, but it's not your typical, your old school, there's oil puddles on the floor, and there's this manufacturing environment that makes you sound like it's scary or anything like that. It is, however, an environment that you kind of have to get used to. It's loud. It's louder than you would think. It's not an office environment. There are offices inside there, but definitely it's an environment where as soon as you step into a logistics place, things are happening and happening fast. And so it's not for, if you want just a nice, calm and relaxing type of position, I would say logistics manufacturing is probably not for you either, but definitely it's exciting. I mean, that's where you got to look at it, is come at it as an exciting, there's tons of stuff happening. I could learn so much and I could grow my career and actually have a career. So I think that those some of the misperceptions that I've encountered is that they don't really know what it's like. But I encourage anyone to go on YouTube and Google what a fulfillment center or any logistics facility looks like, and I think you'll hopefully dismiss some of those negative perceptions of logistics and manufacturing.
Great point. This next question is interesting in that, I mean, the way this meeting is set up is an impact of COVID-19, but specifically in the world of logistics, specifically Lisa for HEB, how has COVID-19 impacted your world?
So HEB, right? When other companies were shutting down, we totally ramped up. We were super busy stocking our warehouses with toilet paper, for instance, because there was a shortage of toilet paper. Just keeping our trucks moving, our warehouses fully stocked, so we can continue to ship out products to all the HEB stores. So it impacted us with a ton of more business. Again, just trying to keep the warehouses fully stocked so we could provide for our stores and our customers.
Angel, same question. How has COVID-19 impacted the workers in the logistics field at Amazon?
Yeah, I think I'll start with some positive stuff. I think because of the demand of having to need more items, that it's actually increased our volume and need for hiring and for growth. And so we've actually seen growth this year as far as the business. On the flip side, it's been extremely challenging. I mean, we had to rearrange how people come in the building, how people leave the building, the crossing of different paths, the social distancing, the temperature checks, the face mask utilization. As I joke all the time, you get to know people's foreheads pretty well, but you don't know the full scope of everything that's going on. So it's a unique, it's very different, it's challenging environment. I don't know that I would recommend it long term for anybody. It's extremely challenging. Again, positive side is that there's been some growth and some adjustments. There's a lot of work from home, as you can tell by the background. Even where I'm sitting at today is I'm working remote today, but our business is structured such that we have to physically be there. And so from time to time, you can work from remote a lot more, and they just extended it through 2021 to do some more and more remote work. Again, it's challenging, and we're adjusting, we're adapting, and we're discovering that in some cases, maybe moving forward, we don't have to travel as much. So there's some opportunities that we're trying to explore, and technology advancements as well. But again, you got to look at the bright side and say that, well, this is some opportunities here, and keep pursuing those positive things.
Yeah, thank you for throwing out the positive things first. In 2020, we need the positivity, right? And I want to say that that question is really interesting in the fact that both HEB and Amazon, we have seen the great work that both companies have done locally, but also, throughout the state. So we appreciate what you guys are doing to help serve our communities. As an HR professional, Lisa, how would someone ace an interview when they come to your company?
So I would definitely recommend being very professional and prepared. Communication would be key, doing the research on the company and the position that you're applying to, and then have questions readily available.
Real quick, I want to ask a question about your response. Could you dig a little bit deeper in when you say research the company? What do you mean by that?
Just know who the company, the background is, if there's any questions, as far as, maybe how long the company has been in business, their growth, what direction that the company is heading into, just making sure that it's going to be a company that's going to offer stability and maybe growth opportunities.
Thank you. Angel, same question. If I were going to interview with you, how can I ace that interview?
Yeah, so Amazon wants you to put your best foot forward. We do want to do exactly as Lisa said, research the company, get to know who we are, what we do, what positions you're interested in, so you can generate some good questions and good answers to the questions that you're going to be asked. But we take it a step further, and we actually send you, all our candidates, some information. We tell you to research specifically our leadership principles. There's 14 of them. We live and breathe by those. That's really what generates and keeps our culture going. So you have to know those. And I would say, as someone listening to someone with their answers during an interview, if you're able to sprinkle some of those in and modify your answers towards those leadership principles, it's going to help you. Secondly, we even tell the candidates, structure your answers in what's called a STAR format, a STAR acronym, STAR. So S says you're answering the question. Describe the situation, S, right? T is for tasks. Tell us what tasks were being done during that situation. A is for actions. What actions did you take? What actions did your team take? And R, very important, a lot of people leave this piece out, is what were the results? Good or bad? You can paint a pretty good story even if you did not accomplish the results that you intended. But if you structure your answer, again, you may have learned something incredible from that experience. That's a very good answer. So situation, the tasks, the actions, and the results, I think are always going to be a good format to you to utilize within Amazon. Generally speaking, I'll tell you, just from my experience in HR, I will tell you, be yourself. Be comfortable in who you are, what you're bringing to the table. Be genuine about your answers. You have a lot of really good answers, even if you feel you're a high school student that never has. I don't have a job. I don't have experience. That's not true. You have a lot of experiences that you could speak to. You may have been in some sort of a club at school. Sports, there's a lot of leadership examples that you could utilize from any of those things. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, any kind of charity type work you do, you bring those examples in forward and put them in that format and use it under our leadership principles. I guarantee you're going to do well. And lastly, come across as though you have a good attitude. That, to me, that's my personal thing. I hire for attitude. The rest, trust me, I can teach it. But if you come in with it's so evident when you run across someone that has a bad attitude, I guarantee everyone on this call listening, you can point them out easily. Don't be that person during an interview because it's easy to spot. Okay, have a good attitude.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's something that you said that I wanted to go back and touch on is the end result, and whether it be good or bad, and maybe the result wasn't what you were going for, but you were able to learn from that result and then take it forward and then create a new situation where you did get that result that you wanted. That's a really good thing to think through there. Lisa, can you share a real world example of someone transitioning from a different industry into logistics?
Yeah, so we've actually come across that quite a bit with COVID. With a lot of the businesses shutting down, there was definitely an increase in applications from candidates coming from the restaurant industry, the retail industry, the oil field industries that we're applying to, our manufacturing, warehouse, and transportation positions. So I think ultimately the transition has worked out really well. HEB's welcomed all the new hires, providing the training and the skills that they need to be successful, and have made them all feel very welcomed. We've had a very good success rate with hiring individuals that's never worked in our industry before. So it's worked out pretty well. We've received nothing but positive feedback from all the new partners coming in from all the different industries that was affected.
That's really good news. That's good. And same question, Angel. Give me a real world example of someone transitioning into a different industry, into logistics from a different industry.
Yeah, we get this question a lot. I think, again, the mystery behind logistics and what it is, hopefully we've dispelled some misperceptions. I don't know that there's a bad way to transition, unless you personally just don't like the environment that we described. I've talked to people in retail, nurses, so the medical field. I lose track of how many people come from different industries and this transition in very well. If you come from an industry, retail, for example, there's attention to detail. You got customer service. There's all these little factors that where you're coming from. Bring all those valuable tools with you. I think you'll be fine in logistics. And again, the multitude of people that I've talked to that were in journalism, communication, whether the field of study was totally different, they ended up in logistics. Again, if you have that skill set that we've talked about, you're going to do well. The transition is not that difficult. You got to have some patience for sure, and just be comfortable knowing that your abilities to succeed are there. I don't see a difficulty in transitioning from almost any field. I can't even think of one where there might be some difficulty.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we were discussing earlier. Both pointed out, being that lifelong learner and opening yourself up to new things and new challenges, and being able to respond that way, I think kind of helps answer that question, So Lisa, this is our final question. As a high school student with no experience, what are some steps that student could take to possibly pursue a career in logistics?
So I would start off by just, logging into HEB's website, heb.com, looking at the different opportunities that we have available. YouTube, we mentioned YouTube earlier. YouTube is a very good tool to watch videos just to see what some of the inside of our areas look like. I did want to hit on our Advanced Manufacturing Technology degree program. That is a program that is offered with St. Philip's College. There's several companies that are included in the Texas FAME AMT program. It's HEB, Holcat, Toyota. And so this program is designed for high school students, recent graduates, to apply to this degree path if they're not interested in going to a four-year degree university. So AMT it's a 2-year associate's degree plan. They get their associate's degree in advanced manufacturing technology. It is a paid program, and so the students will go to school 2 days out of the week, and then the other 3 days out of the week they'll work at their sponsoring company. So if it's at HEB, they would work anywhere from 6 to 8 hour days, the 3 days that they're not going to school. Whatever classes that they're learning or taking in school. So if it's AC/DC motor controls, program logic controllers, they're getting that hands-on experience at their sponsoring company. So the education lines up really well with the training that we have here. So our ultimate goal is that these partners, because they are partners with HEB when they're going through the program, is that they will graduate at the end of the 2 years with their associate's degree. And then their college hopefully will be paid for, because they do get raises and bonuses after each semester, depending on their GPA, time and attendance, their performance reviews. So again, they'll graduate with their 2-year associate's degree debt-free. and then they would be offered a full-time position within their sponsoring facility, whether that's in manufacturing maintenance. So that would be working on the equipment that manufactures our food products. So working with very large conveyor belt systems, hydraulics, pneumatics, the electrical piece of the equipment, working on the automation on the inside. They also will be working with our facility services department, which is our buildings and grounds maintenance, which is basically a jack of all trades. So instead of having, master electricians or plumbers or HVAC technicians, all of those positions are combined into one. And then there's automated systems industrial maintenance. So for some of our facilities that are fully automated, and then ammonia refrigeration. So manufacturing maintenance, and then those three are partnered up with the AMT. Each semester, HEB posts on our website. The posting should go up within the next month before the end of the year, so we can start recruiting for our next AMT class for 2021. So it's a very good opportunity.
Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity. So Angel, same question. I know 1 o'clock is when questions start. So real quickly, give us an example or some things that a high school student should know when they come to you with no experience. How can they enter into that career?
Yeah, so Lisa did a great job answering that question. I don't have too much more to add other than, we have, like I said, the different career paths. We have, tuition reimbursement that a lot of people take advantage of. We offer some internal classes. Some of them aren't even specific to logistics or even Amazon, to be honest. Just the other day, I saw an email come through that a bunch of folks just graduated from a medical billing courses that we offered, and, they got their certifications, which to me means they might end up leaving Amazon. But that's okay. I mean, they'll either come back and we took care of them. We're not necessarily in the medical field, at least not yet. So who knows? Maybe someday they'll be working for Amazon again. But we also have different apprenticeship programs. CDL, obviously for our truck drivers, for Amazon, and a new apprenticeship program that just started. It's mechatronics, which sounds a little interesting, but it's a combined mechanical and electrical apprenticeship program where we're literally paying you to go study, and I think it's a year and a half long. And then you come back, and then you're able to really work on a lot of the robotics and a lot of the mechanical things that are inside the very proprietary type stuff within Amazon. Hopefully this program will just continue to expand and grow. Now, you'll notice I didn't say it was an easy program. Mechanical, electrical combined into one. It's you got to pass a pre-course assessment type thing. I'm sure your math skills have to be up to par. Mechanical aptitude has to be up there. But it's the new one that literally just started this year, so that's probably the most exciting piece. But tons of opportunities. Again, there's a lot of growth. I think in July we hit over 1 million employees globally around the world. So we're, I guess, tons more growth happening.
Okay, so that concludes our questions. We do have a few questions in the queue. Jessica, are you going to read the questions, or do you?
Yes, okay. I sure will. Y'all done a wonderful job. Yes. Again, this is going to be about 13 more minutes left of our webinar. If y'all have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll start with our first question. So we have a question from the audience, and the question is, I am a graduate at the ACC Round Rock Logistic Warehouse Management Program, and I would like to get into a job with Amazon. Where should I apply?
Yeah, so you can go online, and most of everything is obviously going to be online. We do bring everyone in as a seasonal or temp type work with the workforce piece of it. And then, like I said, within 30 days and sometimes sooner, we've been converting to a full-time Amazon employee, which at that point in time, it's good to hear you got that degree. I think that'll be advantageous as you continue to move on in your career. But step one is get in, do your tier one, master that, and again, shows curiosity in a bunch of other roles. Tell people your degree that you have, talk to HR professionals at Amazon, and then as soon as an opportunity pops open, Again, once you're eligible after 30 days, you can start applying. And after 30 days, you can even start applying for transfers to different locations that Amazon has. And obviously, Buda, Kyle, Pflugerville will be popping open next year, the San Marcos facility. And so, I mean, globally.
Great, thank you so much. Our next question is, what are the most important skills you look for as an HR recruiter or business partner and a job candidate in the logistics industry? What are the most important skills you look for in a job candidate? Lisa, you want to take that question?
So the most important skills, the positions that I recruit for are very specialized and fairly unique. So really depends on the area. It would, I mean, if it's on the automation side, it would just really be that that skill set, working with the different automation controls, program logic controllers. So really that experience. And then again, someone who's going to be open to learning and growing with HEB, growing their career long-term, someone who's going to want to stay and continue the education and skill set to, again, continue their career.
Thank you. Okay, Lisa, what is the name of the college that you partnered with for the advanced manufacturing training for your employees?
That would be St. Philip's College in San Antonio.
Thank you. And it looks like we have, oh, another question for Lisa. Do you see most of the HEB employees that have gone into manufacturing or logistic roles as employees as the same ones that started as front-end employees, such as cash registers, restocking, customer service?
Yeah, so there's a lot of store partners who are interested on this side of the business. So we do see a lot of partner transfers coming to manufacturing. So whether it's a cashier or a bagger that's interested in going full-time or just getting that experience on the manufacturing side, we do see a lot of partner transfers coming to this side of the business to grow their careers, whether, again, it's in manufacturing, warehouse, or transportation. We are just a totally different, it's a totally different side of the business and world on our side, because, again, when people hear of HEB, they think of the grocery stores, and there's so many other opportunities. You know, with MWT, there's engineering side, there's a control side, again, the transportation. So a lot of different opportunities that our store partners are interested in.
Thank you. And I'm gonna come back to the screen here so you don't get confused by my headshot. So I have another question actually from a teacher at Hill Valley Independent School District. So the question is, we are trying to assist our students to get out there and to take risks. Are there ways students can intern to see how the subjects they're learning in school can correlate to the logistics industry? Angel, I'll give that question to you.
Yep. Okay. So I mentioned it earlier. I wish we had an internship, but we do have an age limit for working in our environment, 18. So it's a little bit challenging to do internships. Hopefully, once these times get better, that we'll have tours started up again so that they could see. A lot of the subjects that you're taking now, they do correlate. Sometimes it might be a little bit hard to see that direct correlation, but as you get deeper and deeper into career path, you start to realize that things do start the dots start connecting, and you start to see the bigger picture. So get good grades, and trust me, every single one of your courses correlates. So keep doing what you're doing. There are correlations. There's tons of opportunities we've already discussed. So take advantage of everything that you're learning and bring it to us when you come work for us someday.
And I guess I can jump in a little bit on that one too. Some things that we do in San Marcos, and the preface is pre-COVID versus COVID times, but we do have some solid partnerships with our local businesses and industries where our students, depending on the program of study, are actually doing internship work at the site. And then as we've moved into our COVID setting, we've worked to flip that model. We're trying to bring those practices that align to what businesses are looking for into our classroom, into our labs, into our shops. So that way students are working on those skills, and when they walk out of our high school, they're better prepared for that real world, for that next step. And kind of what Angel hit on, it just depends on what the company's allowing, whether it be 18 and up or 16 and up, just depends. One partnership we do have with Epic Piping, which is a welding company here in San Marcos, is that we've had their welding instructors come train our students, work with our students. Our teacher actually did some training at their site because he is of age and meets their requirements. And so again, we kind of flip that model to bring it back into the classroom where it is safe, and that age limit is always a difficult thing to work through, but there are ways. We've found ways, and that's something that we continue to do here in San Marcos is how can we connect our kids in every program of study with an end point being a business.
Yeah, I think that's really great. Thank you for sharing that. Now we have one more question from the audience, and then I'd love to share a little bit of information about Workforce Solutions Capital Area and Rural Capital Area. So last question is for Angel, actually. How has your degree and your knowledge of psychology helped you in the role of logistics that you're in now? And can you give an example of how your background has helped you in your role?
That's a good question. So yeah, my study undergraduate was psychology. And as I mentioned, or at least was mentioned during the bio, I was in the Navy for 8.5 years, where I was a corpsman. And if you don't know what that means, it's like a combat medic. So I got to do a lot of interesting things without having a medical license. Small things like shots and IVs to more serious things. Treating gunshot wounds, sutures, IVs, chest tubes, those types of things. The degree, I think, there, obviously, psychology is the study of human behavior. And to me, I think it helped because it helped me to relate to people. It helped me to take time to truly listen, understand what motivates people. I think those are all key contributing things to help you be a better coach, a better HR professional in general. As I mentioned earlier, also the leadership development aspect of it. You gotta be able to educate people along the way. I tell every HR professional that I encounter that if you're not learning and teaching something every interaction that you have with somebody, you're not doing your job fully in HR. And I think the psychology piece was a valuable component for me to also be able to act and not react to things that sometimes, again, that the psychology and the combination of being in the military helped me refine that even further. So when I got into my MBA program and I started to learn what human resources even was, that's when everything started coming together for me, that the psychology and my approach and my demeanor, I think, helped me. And then I also like to sprinkle in humor. I mean, I think that it's always good to laugh every single day. And I tell my HR folks that report to me that if you're not laughing at least once every single day, come see me. Something's wrong. Okay, it's not gloom and doom. Let's have some fun in life and get a lot of stuff done.
That was a great positive note to end on. And I just want to thank the audience and share that, HR, human resource departments, often, there's a stigma around them letting people go, but they're also there to support you through your career journey. So please, especially the high school students who are on this webinar, get comfortable introducing yourself, networking, shaking your hand, and really asking those questions like, how can I be successful at your company? Especially to those HR recruiters, because they are there to support you and make you into the most successful professional that you are. So I really thank Lisa and Angel for representing your companies and just the industry in general, and then also Mr. Doyle for moderating our questions. I'm going to share my screen just so y'all can follow us on Instagram and then also on YouTube. We're also on LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those great social media channels. Please follow us. I'm going to give you a moment to kind of take a screenshot or get your phones out and follow on our WFS Capital Area page. We share a lot of information about upcoming no-cost career training. So if you're a job seeker or you're even currently working, you're looking for a change, follow us. You can also email us at careerladder@wfscapitalarea.com. We have a lot of really great resources. Again, if we didn't get to your questions today, I'm going to follow up with an email to everyone who attended to share our contact information, more information about our no-cost training, and then answers to any questions that we missed. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you again.